Welcome to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. Uh, I'm still working on some stuff as I prepare for the show. When I say working on some stuff, I mean it is what it is. I'm looking up one or two little things here. I lost my train of thought. What was I looking up? Man, I'm getting old. I really don't remember what I was looking up, y'all. But hold on, let me go here. Let me go here. Welcome to the show. That's what I was looking up. Okay. Erica from Reading. Erica from Reading checking in. Thank you, Erica. Got Anthony. Anthony checking in. I'm gonna put Erica up there so everybody see Erica checked in, then Anthony checked in. Hold on, I'm still looking up a couple things here. Looking up a couple things here. Oh, come on in, say hi to me, y'all. That's all I ask. That's the price of admission. Not really. There's no price of admission. But that's all I really ask. Karen. Karen says good afternoon. Good afternoon, Karen. Uh, see, I was just about to look up something else. Forgot. Logic Slayer. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Logic Slayer. Pat. Good afternoon, Pat. Janice. Good afternoon, Janice. Good afternoon. Yes, I am here. I am here. Rick. Rick say he's representing Planet Fitness. All right. Rick representing Planet Fitness. I was looking something up, y'all. Chelsea. Chelsea. Well, hello to you as well, Chelsea. It came back to my mind and then it went away again. Oh, where is it? Where is it? That's what I'm looking for. Hold on, I'm coming to y'all. If I don't type this stuff out, then I'll forget what I'm typing and y'all see the wheels get to spinning and they not, you know, they don't spin all that fast. All right. All right. So we got Nick in the house. Good afternoon, Nick, representing Blue Ash. Brent, good afternoon, representing Dallas, Texas. Hold on, put that over there. Diane in the house. Good afternoon, Diane, representing Covington. Sabrina in the house, representing Kentucky. All right. There has been so much misinformation put out since you were last on. How do you even get started? I don't know, and I, I don't know. McConnell, he's headed to Planet Fitness as well. Got Brenda in the house representing Fairfield. Good afternoon, Brenda. Pamela, representing North Avondale. Good afternoon. 513 717 5464. 513 717 5464. That's the number to get on board. 513 717 5464. think I got everybody. Brent says you better not have any technical difficulties. I might have some technical difficulties. You never know. You never know. You can't control technical difficulties. I mean, unless you prepare in advance. It's kind of hard. Sierra, who hates me, by the way. I figured it out. See, I'm what they say, you let the chaff and the wheat grow together and then you sort them out later. I'm figuring out the people who hate me, and I've figured out Sierra is one of those people. But she's checking in from north of Boston. Good afternoon, Sierra. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said, hold on. I must have misread your comment. What's up? Going to my second home, the gym. Oh, and then you were saying planet. See, with no punctuation there, it was easy for me to misread what you were saying. Not saying that you have to always, in this stuff, you don't have to always put punctuation in there, but you were saying Planet Fitness sucks. Okay, my bad. My bad. Anthony in the house. Carolyn from East Walnut Hills. Preston, checking us out from Hebron, Kentucky. Got Daryl in the house. Good afternoon, Daryl. Regina representing Beachmont. All right. Y'all, I want to talk just a little bit about this Jennifer Crumley. Jennifer Crumley. Now, if you don't know who Jennifer Crumley is the mother of Ethan Crumley. Ethan Crumley is the guy who, in November of 2021, shot and killed some people at a school. Jennifer was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Was that yesterday or day before? These days are running together because I just been so big. Hold on, before I put that on hold, time out. Y'all, I appreciate y'all patience. I have been busy these past few days. I've been working on a project. I'll share a little bit about what the project was. There's a church that needed my assistance with their sound. And there was an idea of, do you totally strip everything out and do a total rewire? Or can you come in and with what we have wired the way that it is, do things to make it not sound horrendous? And so that's what I was doing for the past few days. When I got off work, I would go there, and I didn't do a rewire. I'm not equipped to, the way that their system was set up, I'm not equipped to do a full rewire. I think I probably could, but I would need more time because this stuff run behind stuff and through walls and all of that. It's a little bit much. So I said, I'll work with what y'all got and I'll figure out what's what. And then I'll work from there. So for the past couple days, that's what I've been doing is getting this church together. I'm not finished tomorrow evening after the show. So I'll still be able to come on and do the show tomorrow. But tomorrow after the show, I will go back to the church to finish up. And then, of course, Sunday, I'll end up at that church to, kind of during service, fine tune different things there and make it work for them. So thank y'all for y'all patience. That's where I've been for the past few days. Look, when I say I'm going to work on a project, I'm actually going to work. If I just don't want to come in and do the show, I say I'm not going to be there today. But if I say I got some other stuff to do, I got some other stuff to do. Sometimes I say what it is, and sometimes I won't. But this particular time, I don't mind sharing. Because I like doing this type of stuff anyway. So I've enjoyed myself the past few days. It's been late nights and all of that kind of stuff. But I'm here now. I'm here now. With all of that said, the days have been running together. Of course, I haven't had a chance to watch the news very much. Um, and my first gig, I can listen to the radio in my ear, or actually Facebook Live in one ear as I'm working. But when I'm doing that, doing sound, of course I can't. So I didn't have an opportunity to watch the news and all of that good stuff. So I'm not up on everything. So this is one of those days where I need to rely on y'all to tell me, what have I been missing? What have I been missing? But one thing, of course, that I saw and that I heard was this jury finding this woman, Jennifer Crumley, guilty of involuntary manslaughter because her son killed a lot of people. I think he killed 4 people, but he shot a few more. And y'all know the conversation, the last week was all about, what do we do with the parents? What do we do with the parents? And I was saying, in terms of here in Cincinnati, the kids who jumped people downtown. I don't know why I did that. They jumped them. Jumped the people downtown. And everybody, well, not everybody, a lot of people were wanting something bad to happen to the parents. Once they find the kids, what are we going to do to the parents? Because people want to know. And I was making the argument that I'm not sure. And I was trying to explain to people, like, sending them to jail, I don't think ain't the answer. I had a few people kind of push back and say, Emanuel, nobody's asking parents to go to jail. Nobody's asking parents to go to jail for the misdeeds of their children. And I was saying, then what? What are we asking to happen? No, I don't know, but nobody's saying parents should go to jail. But guess what I heard this morning? I was listening to 700. And I heard a number of callers. And keep in mind, at 700, they don't actually do a whole lot of callers. The whole phenomenon of talk radio being driven by callers, that's only a certain segment of talk radio. Most talk radio is driven by the host, by their topics, by their guests. And callers are like an afterthought. Like, if I take calls, it's one of those deals. But today, as I was listening to 700, I heard a number of callers, which I was like, what? This is unusual. But all the callers that I heard were white men. White men upset that this white woman got found guilty in this case where her son, as we say, shot up a school. People were upset. This white woman was found guilty, and her husband will also be going on. I'm sorry, I see a thing. I have to read it in a second. He's also going to be going on trial. Hold on. Hey, sorry for bothering you. I want to offer promotion of your channel. Viewers, followers, views, chatbots, etc. The price is lower than any competitor. The quality is guaranteed to be the best. Flexible and convenient order management or management panel, chat panel, everything is in your hands. A huge number of custom settings. Go to, it's so long, it even cut off on my end here. Listen, climactic chronolo 4 or chrono 4. I don't do that. If I got 4 people watching, I got 4 people watching. If I got 6 people watching, I got 6. If I got 20, I got 20. If I got 60, I got 60. If I got 70, 80, whatever I got, that's what I got. I don't buy views. I don't buy chat. I don't buy followers. None of that. So I appreciate the offer, but I don't do that. I don't do that. This is organic over here, and this is how I get down. All right, back to what I was saying. And they were mad because the father will be going on trial. And here was the argument that they were making. I'm going to try to give the argument that they were making and then maybe my interpretation of the argument that they were making. The argument that they were making was, yeah, good. Now that we're sending people to jail for the actions of their children, maybe now with these black kids running around downtown, jumping people, we can send all of those parents to jail too. And maybe shoot one or two. Now, I know you're thinking that's your interpretation of what they were saying. No, that's what they were saying. That's what they were saying. My interpretation is if we send in white people to jail for not making sure that their children don't harm people, then we certainly got to start sending those N-words to jail for the misdeeds of their children. So, I don't know where that leaves us. Because, you know, I always find it interesting. First, let me say, I know probably there's a lot of you who agree with that sentiment. There's a lot of you who probably agree. Like, hey, oh, man, look. If kids do something bad, their parents got to pay for it. Send the parents to jail. So if you agree with that, that's cool. That's how you feel. But this is why I had an issue with the conversation last week. This is why I had an issue with the conversation last week. Because it wasn't, they weren't like, hey, I was listening to the conversation that's been happening, and those ends are right. We need to send those parents to jail. But it's almost like if you were arguing last week for sending parents to jail because they kids skip school, or because they kids beat somebody up, or because their kids rob somebody, or, you know, for anything bad the kids do, you kind of can't argue against what these people are saying. You, in my opinion, you lost your right to argue that they're wrong. You kind of now just have to agree with them. I see Janice said the circumstances are completely different. Brent says assault versus mass killing. The parents of both should get jail time. Question mark. They not seeing that distinction. And that's what I keep trying to tell y'all when some of y'all throw out all of this terrible stuff about black people, and we clump us all into this one terrible group. Because it bothers me so, because that's how the other groups may see us. And then when we feed into it, we can't argue against what they're saying when they're saying it. Yes, we look at it and we say, all right, a kid going to school, the parents having purchased the gun, gone shooting with the kid with the gun. They actually met with the school the day of the shooting, and the kid had the gun in his backpack, and nobody checked the kid's backpack to see if he had a gun in it, where he had written notes basically suggesting that he wanted to kill people in school. It would seem reasonable to me that if you write a note in school basically saying, I'm going to shoot some people in school, and I find that note, and I send you to the office, we going to check and see if you got a gun. Bro, I need to see what's in your backpack. Bro, we need to check your locker. We need to see what's going on. But nobody did it. And I'm going to say the principal, I don't know if his title was the principal, But there was one of the administrators of the school who testified that basically he didn't think it was that big of a deal. I guess up until the actual shooting happened, he thought, this ain't that big of a deal. Okay, yeah, he might be writing notes about wanting to shoot kids, but who doesn't? Who doesn't do that? Like, he legit, even though they had a meeting with the parents about it, he said he didn't think it was that big of a deal. So then they look at this person, they find him guilty, and you say what you want to say. Some of this is just, some of these white people are just mad. Because they see, somebody called in, I want to say it was Friday. I think it was CK, who I saw in the chat. I think it was CK who called in last Friday. And CK was making the argument that, hey, look, our kids do bad stuff, but they kids go shoot up a school. And which is worse? Our kids beating people up downtown, or they kids shooting up a school? And I was making the argument that basically I'm not really trying to compare the two. But he made the point a few times. And they're looking at it like, I had very little to no fear that my kids was ever going to go shoot up a school. If I had any fear, it would have been that my son or my daughter might shoot some kid. My kid might shoot a kid in some street dispute. I wouldn't have known where they got the gun, because they weren't going to use mine. But, sometimes kids, whatever. They can get their hands on stuff. If I would have had a fear, and I never really had that as a fear, but if I would have had a fear, that would have been my fear. But I think if I'm a white parent, I'm not a white parent, so on here, I can only just assume. If I had a fear, it would be that my kid was going to be a school shooter and go shoot up a school. So I think a lot of white parents kind of identify with this. And they kind of identify with those parents. And they're thinking, whoa, that could be me. What if Connor goes and shoots up a school? Then I can go to jail? What if Madison shoots up a school? I can go to jail? I don't want to go to jail for what Madison did. I don't want to go to jail for what Connor did. And if I'm in danger of going to jail for what Madison does, then why aren't those black kids going to jail for the bad things that they're doing? And then we sitting back like, yeah, black people should go to jail for they bad kids. Black kids is bad. They worse than all the other kids. We don't actually say those words, but that's the sentiment that we put out a lot. The black kids are the worst kids. Look at the statistics. Look at the numbers. So they sitting there like, let's start putting these black parents in jail. Let's start putting these black parents in jail. And we cheering right along with them. I saw a few people say, well, Emanuel, so then what do we do? I don't know. But can we all agree? These are different situations. Even the kids downtown jumping people is different than, what was his name? Ethan shooting up a school. And especially since Ethan, apparently there were a lot of cries for help to his parents to his friends about his parents ignoring his cries, from the school about Ethan's cries, basically to the school about the parents ignoring his cries, and the parents, purchasing guns, going shooting with him, but more allegedly, and I'm still saying allegedly, even though she's been found guilty, I don't know that she was more concerned about, as somebody put it on 700 today, riding horses and riding men. Somebody on 700 said that. That's not mine. Because apparently she was having an affair. And so they argued that she was much more focused on the affair and her horses than she was her son and his cries for help. So she's more concerned with riding horses and riding men. That's what somebody said. And again, you would think they might be having a conversation about whether or not, I'm gonna say the ethics of sending parents to jail for the actions of their children. Because this was kind of historic, kind of setting a precedent. And I would have thought, okay, maybe that's the conversation that they'll be having. But the conversation wasn't that. The conversation was, should we be sending these black parents to jail for the actions of their children? It's reactive. It's a matter of, if we're gonna get punished for it, let's punish them for it. Their focus wasn't on, like we had these conversations. My focus be on, well, what can we do to help parents be better parents? And what do we need to look for? And, if we're gonna punish parents, then what should the punishment be? How does sending a parent to jail help, and all of that kind of stuff? That wasn't their conversation. Hear me, for real. Hear me. Hear what I'm saying. Hear the conversations that are happening. And we always like, well, they don't talk about their stuff out in public. They talk about their stuff, so we don't know what they doing. No, some of us listen to different talk radio, different styles, different communities. And, you can hear what was that? The voice here? I don't know what that was. You can hear the thought processes that are going on. So now if you look up, because again, the thought processes that are going on, they are not, Stephanie, hold on, let me see. Come on, get back over there. Thank you. Stephanie says, absolutely you can go to jail. You are the parent. Do your job. Parents know when their child has mental concerns. We just ignore them. No, if parents can't control their children, the powers that be have to control how the parents are held. I got to move over here for the rest of it. Accountable. But again, Stephanie, that's not the conversation that at least a segment of another community is having. See, that's the conversation that we're having. And a lot of times we only talking about our kids. But guess what happens when their kid does something? Their parents are held accountable. Their conversation isn't even about how to hold their kids accountable or whether parents should be held accountable for the actions of their children. Their conversation is, how can we hold black parents accountable? And if we're not going to hold black parents accountable, then we need to shoot their kids. And somebody even said, okay, well, you shoot one of those kids, and then you're gonna have this outcry about, oh my goodness, somebody just shot one of our kids. But then they'll learn. And the retort was, nah, they still won't learn. We'll have to shoot a few more of them. See, we the only people who don't hold ourselves accountable. We the only people who don't hold our kids accountable. We the only people who don't this, and we the only people. A white child went into a predominantly white school and shot predominantly white people, killed some. His white parents are going to jail. His white mama was just convicted. He's going to jail. And their focus is, what can we do about these black kids committing crime? What can we do about these black kids committing crime? Daryl says, why do you even listen to them racist idiots down the dial? Why not? Number one, it's talk. I like to hear different ideas. I like to hear different ideas, different thoughts. And it helps me when I'm hearing black people in particular talk about how bad black people are. Put us all in the same category and all of that kind of stuff. And when I hear that, black people are the only people who this, and black people are the only people who that, I listen to the racist idiots down the dial, as you say. I listen to the religious zealots and the country bumpkins and all of that stuff. And a lot of times when y'all say black people are the only people who, I'd be like, no, because I just heard a country bumpkin, white dude down the dial say the same thing that you said that nobody but us say. We're the only people who get out here in public and fight amongst each other. No, because I was just listening to another radio station where two white people in the political realm with some power are fighting each other publicly. Now, it'll depend on the ear, in my opinion. It'll depend on the ear that you listen to it with. And I'm not saying, Stephanie, that we shouldn't focus on what's happening in our city. What I'm saying is, we shouldn't, right out the gate, I know we're frustrated. Some of us. I know some of us are frustrated by watching some of our children, which again is a extreme minority. We get frustrated watching an extreme minority of our children do bad things. But again, if we're looking at, okay, who's successful and who's not successful, I think we're successful as well as black parents. I think black parents are successful. You know, you see how many people are raised, they grow up, they go to school, or they get a trade, or whatever. They're doing whatever it is that they do. Not harming people, making it. Those are successful parents. Those are successful parents. So first, let's give ourselves credit for that. Let's give ourselves credit for that. The overwhelming majority of black parents are successful. Now, I guess that depends on your idea of success. I say, if you raised a good person who's a productive citizen, you were a success. They don't have to be a multimillionaire. They don't have to own their own business. They're good people, and they're productive members of society. If you're a black parent, raised black children who are productive members of society, you're a success as far as I'm concerned. Congratulations. So first, let's just acknowledge that. Let's acknowledge that. Well, that goes without saying. It doesn't. Because when we talk about the kids downtown, we talk, some of us, we talk as if it's all of our children. We ain't got no more community. The village don't exist no more. People don't raise their kids right no more. These parents just don't know. No, that's a very small minority. Stephanie, I'm having almost a verbal spat with Stephanie. That credit, I think she meant goals, not holes. That credit goes to the parents who are doing their job, raising their children with ethics across the board. See, this is one where I'm not talking about across the board. I'm talking about black people. I'm talking about black people. And I'm giving credit to black parents who do a good job. This is what gets me. This is what gets me. I actually hear this a lot. And I don't necessarily believe this is what Stephanie is trying to do. But this is what gets me. If I say, hey, credit to black parents who are doing a good job. What? It's parents across the board doing a good job. Okay. If I say it's bad kids across the board, no, we need to focus on our own. Hold on. So if I'm giving credit, give it to everybody. If I'm doing blame, just keep that black. That bothers me. That bothers me. We only worried about our community. We ain't talking about the other people. So blame, we got to, if we don't talk negative, then we should just focus on our community. But if we're going to talk positive, then that's across the board. I said, Stephanie, I don't necessarily think that that's your, but it happens a whole lot. It's not just you, and it's not just this time. It happens a lot. And again, this is my frustration, and this is really the only reason why I'm bringing this up. I don't have a solution. Oh, wait a minute. Myosha says, just tuning in. Is Emanuel defending bad parenting again? No. Emanuel was given credit for good parenting. Right now. I'll talk about bad parenting in a minute. But he's giving credit for good parenting right now. You haven't been like some people just don't sit back and stop and say, I did good. That was good. That was good. Pat yourself on the back. And then move forward. Sometimes just stop and pat yourself on the back. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. In this particular portion. Stephanie says, but what are you saying about bad parenting? All right. Forget all the complimenting black people. Enough of that. We don't need no positivity. Let's get to the negative. All right. Let's get to the negative. Because that's what we want. Well, all I'm saying about bad parenting is, number one, it's not as prevalent as you think. See, that's me being positive again. And I promise the positivity is going to stop, okay? The positivity is going to stop. Because I know we can't take too much positivity. So just hang with me through the positivity and we'll get to the negativity, all right? I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to give y'all what y'all want. I'm going to give y'all negativity about black people. I promise. I'm going to say something negative about black people before the end of this show. I promise. But about bad parenting, first, it's not as prevalent as you think. There are a lot of good, and I'm just talking about young people. There are a lot of good young people basically just doing what they supposed to do. They're like regular young people, like we were when we were young people. They lose their way or, stray off the path a little bit here and there. They might not listen to the music that we like, that we wish they would, or, they might have the negative messages in the music and all of that kind of stuff. But overwhelmingly, our young people, they not all jumping people downtown. You know what I'm saying? They not all shooting each other in drive-bys. That is a small number of people. So I want us to keep that in mind. That's a small number of people. Stephanie, I'm gonna get to the negativity. I am. But I want to do a little bit of putting things in perspective first. Because it becomes easy to just talk about the negative. Well, because if it's positive, we don't need to talk about it. We need to solve problems. We don't need to just sit back and look at the good. Sometimes maybe we do. Because if we don't acknowledge the good, again, somebody brought this up, I think it was Friday, maybe Thursday. There are actual people. Yes, actual people who believe the overwhelming majority of our kids are bad. Who believe that the only people committing crime are black people. Remember the person called? I'm not going to say her name and argue with me that white people don't commit crime. She wasn't joking. She wasn't playing. I had to go on a whole series of just pointing out stories of white people committing crimes because she literally did not believe that white people commit crime. Why is that? My guess is because she don't hear those stories. When people just hear negative about black people or about black kids, for some people, they just assume we talking about all black kids. For some people, they just assume we talking about all black kids. So I think it's important to point out, to put into perspective, that when we're talking about these bad young black people, we're talking about an extreme minority of black people. So we're going to try to keep that in mind. All right? Now, let's get to the negative. That's where we want to go. So what do we do about bad? I don't know. I don't know what we do about bad parents. I don't. I don't know that if my kid is in a crowd of people and they jump somebody downtown, they should go to jail. Now, because to me, that's a far cry from a mother buying her kid a gun and going shooting with him and getting called to the school the day of the shooting. We're not talking about a week before the shooting, a month before the shooting, earlier in the week, the day of the shooting. They had basically a parent-teacher conference. He had his book bag in the parent-teacher conference, which is apparently where he had the gun. The parent-teacher conference was about basically his threatening, it wasn't a note like, I'm going to kill people, but I forget exactly what it was. Somebody can look it up real quick if they want to. But it was something where a teacher looked at it and said, this is alarming, and sent him to the office, to the principal, and they called his parents and had a meeting. That day. Yeah, it was pictures that he drew. That day. And they asked, well, just take him home. And apparently, allegedly, the parents said, no, he cool. He cool. He could stay here. Their concern was, their concern was, basically, how is he going to feel if he's doing distance learning for the rest of the day? How is he going to feel to have to do distance learning for the rest of the day? That's what was reported. And then later on that day, he reaches in his book bag, he pulls out his gun, and he start blasting. Just right, B-Rab, a white guy just cut his father's head off. He was one of them MAGA guys talking about a civil war has come in and choose sides and all of that nonsense. But he wasn't a child. He was a grown man. I just think it's interesting that a different community looks at that story. And again, their takeaway from that story is, what do we do about these black kids jumping people? Because to me, look, I'm not jumping on the send parents to jail bandwagon. I'm not. If there's a clear tie, that, you know that your kid is doing dirt, and you in some way, shape, or form help your kid do dirt, you should go to jail for helping your kid do dirt. So if they can prove that one of the parents of one of those kids knew they was going to jump somebody, or knew there was a good chance that they was going to go jump somebody, and, bought them steel-toed shoes so that the kicks would be more effective, that parent should go to jail. But just because your kid is bad don't necessarily mean you should go to jail. Do that make sense? Because to me, that line up with this. You should have known he had some mental issues, because he was telling you that he's seeing ghosts and voices are talking to him and stuff. She's talking about, oh, that was just a running joke about our house being haunted. No, this little MF was telling you that he's seeing ghosts, not like, oh, I thought it was a little cold spot. No, he was legit telling his parents that he was seeing people. And then even he had to acknowledge, I'm having hallucinations. And to his friend, I'm having hallucinations, and my parents don't care. That's what he told his friends. So, okay, if one of them kids told their parents, we getting ready to go, me and my friends is getting ready to go downtown, and we gonna find some old white man, and we gonna kick him. And they you gonna what? We gonna kick him. Well, if you gonna kick him, let me show you how to kick. What? You should go to jail. But short of knowing that, I don't know that you should go to jail for that. I don't know that you should go to jail for that. I don't know why we are so why we so hell-bent on sending these parents, not just those parents, but I guess I know why. We're frustrated. We're frustrated because we see young people being more aggressive and doing more bad stuff than we think they should. And so we looking at our kids and we're taking the small percentage of bad kids and putting them across the spectrum and saying our kids is bad and so we need to punish parents. And the only thing we can think of as punishment seems to be send them to jail. I know people will say, ain't nobody saying send parents to jail, Emanuel. And then 5 minutes later, we'll be talking about sending parents to jail. And I'll be sitting there thinking, I thought wasn't nobody talking about sending parents to jail. When I said it, y'all said wasn't nobody talking about it. But the whole conversation has been about sending parents to jail. Like, y'all be having fun for real. Sometimes y'all make me second guess myself. Because I hear so much. Hold on a second, CK. Stephanie says, we are so hell-bent because we're tired of children, teachers, just people in general being killed. And no one is doing anything to correct the problem. I disagree with that. But let me get CK in here. CK.
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Livingston?
CK, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Hey, man, I'm perplexed about this story you're talking about.
All right.
You said he murdered 4 white kids in his school?
He killed 4 kids, yeah.
Now, this is the thing. What type of sentence did the murderer get? The one that actually...
Life in prison without parole.
Whoa! How old is he?
How old was he? I think he was 16. I think he was 16, but I'm not 100% sure.
Now, this is where... Now, you know that is outrage now. You are not supposed to sentence no 16-year-old child, no matter what they did, to no life without parole.
I don't know about that.
Livingston.
I don't know about that.
Oh, no. Look at the laws. He's a child. How are you going to try him as an adult? That's statutory rape.
Jay says he was 15.
He is not 15. That is a crime against humanity. I mean, to do that to a child, lock him up for the rest of his life for something he did as a child? Do you agree with that?
Well, to be completely honest, I hadn't really thought much about it.
Ooh.
I hadn't really thought much about it. I thought more about the fact that, he killed 4 people. I think he shoot 10 and killed 4. I don't know why those numbers are popping into my head, but I know 4 ended up dying. But I thought he shot like 10 of them, and 4 of them ended up dying. But I don't know. I guess when you think about it, he clearly had some mental issues, and if maybe he can get some help for the mental issues that he had, maybe him being in jail for the rest of his life might not be the best punishment. Because before it happened, he had been crying out for help, clearly.
And you remember they did this to one of our African-American children, the DC sniper. He was sentenced to life without parole. And I've been writing letters for 20 years trying to get him out. They don't listen. You cannot punish these children for crimes. They are not even, they're not adults. You're trying them like they're a grown person. I can see if he was grown and did that, but he's a child himself. You know what I mean?
I
do.
Remember
the DC sniper?
Yes, I do. And
they gave that man life with. Mm-hmm.
I understand the argument that you're making. I'm just being completely honest. I hadn't even considered it because when you have stories like this, there's so many different issues to think about. And I hadn't even considered that as an issue. I might actually agree with you once I stop and process it. I might actually agree with you.
Yeah, because, we advocating against this locking up kids for life because when you put, do you know what you're doing to a child when you put them in a prison with grown men?
But yeah, you're putting them in a
You know what I
prison with
mean?
grown
You know
men.
what can happen to those kids?
Really
Yeah,
bad stuff
but
could happen. Yeah.
they become victims. Like they get sodomized and raped in prison. The kids. So I mean, you gotta think about your laws.
Well,
That's
CK,
unethical.
Cindy wanted to know: would you feel the same way if your kids were killed by him?
Yeah, I don't think, no. My belief is, Mr. Livingston, I don't think no child under 18 should be tried as an adult. That's you taking advantage of the law. I think you're going against civil rights because it's a child. So no child should be tried as if they're. That's why they have laws protecting children from grown people sleeping with them, because it don't matter if they with it. You're not supposed to be doing that because they're a child. They can't make a conscious decision. They're not mature enough. So if they're not mature, why would you lock up a 15-year-old for the rest of his life? And
CK,
then imagine what happened to him the first 5 years.
CK, again, I might agree with you in terms of locking them up for life. Now, Janice brings up a point. Janice says they're usually not in general population with the adults once they're 15, which is more than likely true. I don't know. I've never been to prison, so I
No,
don't
that's
know
not true at
exactly how they
all.
do that.
You have to talk
Um,
to the grown. No, I'm saying that's not a true statement. You talk to the people that has been in jail since they was 15 or 16, and they will tell you what they had to go through, locked up in a grown man penitentiary. So all you got to do is go to a penitentiary and see who the youngest person in that penitentiary is. They're not 18.
and,
They're
and you've
15, 16.
hold on, and you've done that research. You've talked to a 15-year-old who was in an adult penitentiary.
Yeah, no, he wasn't 15 at the time. He was grown. But I'm saying he's telling you about when he first went to prison at the age, for these heinous crimes. But they went to prison at 15 and 16 and was, victimized in prison.
Well, but I mean, I do think, and I'm saying think because I don't know. I do think they put a 15-year-old in a juvenile facility until he becomes of age to go to an adult facility.
Yeah, but not all. Sometimes they send You're right. That in general that happens. But if you look at like the youngest prisoner in the facility, they do have most penitentiaries have a couple of 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 17-year-olds. You know what I mean? Because of how heinous the crime was.
Okay, I don't know that to
So
be true, but just for the sake of this conversation, let's accept it. Although I doubt it. But
mhm.
with
You
that,
saying if it had happened, that they have changed those laws by now?
I would hope so. But again, I'm not. I
Hmm.
haven't never been to prison. I don't sit back or I've never researched the prisons and the way that they do that. So, and I've never talked to a person who was in prison at 15. So, I don't. I don't think that's the case. But again, I don't
Hmm.
know, and I don't necessarily want to quibble about it right here because I think your greater point is um, the idea of sentencing a 14, 15, 16-year-old to life in prison without the possibility of parole is unreasonable.
Unreasonable. And so the people down the Dow that you was listening to, the white people, they were more concerned with the adult than the child, right? You said they were upset about the mother getting sentenced.
They were more concerned. There was very little concern about that white woman and white man potentially going to jail and being found guilty for the actions of their children. They, in their mind, that all shifted to, what about black kids? Can we
Right,
send their
right.
parents to jail now?
Oh, they want a diversion. They want to diverge. Let's get away from this. Let's talk. I see what you're
They
saying.
they
But
they are
yeah,
they are angry. They are angry, and they want someone to pay for it. And basically, they want the parents of black children to pay for their anger.
Oh no, no. When you broke down what was going on in this case, no, this is different.
It's
Like you
very
said,
different.
they contributed. They contributed to the crime. So I just feel that, like I said, just that's the movement we need to start. Stop giving these little kids grown sentences. Stop sentencing children like they're adults, because that's represent. The kids, they're looking at that like, well, they don't respect us no way. You know what I mean? So you got to look out for the kids and stop giving these guys life in prison, because they made a mistake at 15 years old.
CK,
Maybe he
CK,
could
somebody
be
saying you never actually,
rehabilitated.
someone saying you never actually answered the question. Would you feel the same way if your child was one of the children that was killed?
I did answer the question. I said I don't believe if a child killed my child, I wouldn't want him to get the death penalty or get the life in prison. I did answer that. I said I don't agree with that.
Okay.
So why would it change because just because it's my child? Well, your belief is your beliefs.
I understand that.
I believe a child can. Yeah, I think a child can be rehabilitated, and he's learned what. Remember, you don't mature as a man until you're 25. So I'm saying 18, you can try him as an adult, but to be technical, you really not matured all the way grown man style till 25. But anybody under 18, that's ridiculous. A life sentence in prison, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's no rehabilitation, no nothing. You're just thinking about vengeance at that point.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, sir. We need to start a movement. Get all anybody that got life with it. Stop that. Just stop the life sentences for juveniles. That's ridiculous.
All right.
Juvenile life, okay. Get out when you're 21, 25, but not no life for real. Thank you, sir.
All right, CK.
Appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you. Hold on, let me get over here. Do that. Now, a few people, they don't believe CK. They don't believe CK. I believe CK. Because I think the question is not necessarily asked in all sincerity. Like, I'm against the death penalty. You know how many times I've been asked, well, what if it was one of your family members? Wouldn't you want them? Like, no. I'm against the death penalty. And even if I did want, even if I felt that way, it doesn't change my thought process that it's not right. So just because I want to see you treated unfairly doesn't mean that I think it's fair. If that makes any sense. So just because my emotions are involved, that doesn't change right and wrong. And if I think the death penalty is wrong, if it's my loved one, well, I might want to see something bad happen to him, but I still have to acknowledge that it's wrong. I want to see the wrong thing happen, but it doesn't change what's wrong to being right. So I just don't think the question is, I think, framed to put you in a position where your beliefs aren't really your beliefs. You're only saying it because it's not you. But that doesn't matter if he feels like, and I as he brings it to my mind, I think I agree with him. Because you did something at 15, you're in jail for life without the possibility of parole. And he's not just, because he didn't even say, not guilty by reason of insanity. If my reading of this is correct, he pled guilty. He pled guilty. Now, I think his attorneys are talking about, some appeals or something. But I don't understand why there was not the argument of not guilty by reason of parole. I saw somebody say, oh, everybody want to claim insanity when they get caught doing something or whatever. But this guy ain't necessarily claiming insanity after the fact. You can look at what he did before the fact and say, yeah, that kid was insane. Yeah, that kid was insane. He was seeing ghosts and stuff that wasn't really there. Like, he was having real hallucinations. He had some legitimate mental problems that we can point to before this happened. So if there's ever a case for not guilty by reason of insanity, or factoring insanity in when you're sentencing, it seemed to me like a 15-year-old crying out to his parents over the course of, some span of time with hallucinations and hearing voices and all of that kind of stuff, and having terrible thoughts of harming people because of the mental anguish that he's going through. That seems like if there is a case for I got mental problems, that would be a good one. Now, I didn't do a lot of research and see why his lawyers didn't try that. So I don't know. But let's get back to what can we do? What can we do bad to parents of bad children? Stephanie says he was crying out. That's why his parents need to go to jail. Again, I agree with, I'm not debating his parents going to jail. Please don't mix up my arguments. I'm not debating whether or not his parents should go to jail. Based on what was presented, yes, his parents should go to jail. They participated, and if it were not for their actions and some of their inactions, this could have probably been avoided. So I'm not debating whether or not his parents should go to jail. I'm debating whether that means we sending kids, parents who do stuff like jump a kid downtown, whether or not we send their parents to jail. Because again, that became the topic. That was the conversation. And it feel like a lot of us are down with that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Let's see. I don't know what that means. Cindy Hill says little men. I don't know what that means. I'm going to assume that was in response to something, but I don't know. I don't know what you were saying. Stephanie says, I'm saying any child who is not following the rules. I still say parents need to go to jail. You sure that's what you're saying? Let's be clear. Are you 100% sure that that is your statement? That's what you're saying, and that's where you stand on the issue. You're saying any child who is not following rules, their parents need to go to jail. You want to stick with that one. You're 100% positive that that's what you want to stick with. I want to read it again, and I'm going to ask you a second time. I'm actually going to ask you 3 times just to be sure. You are still sticking with any child who is not following rules, their parent needs to go to jail. You're 100% sure that's what you're sticking with. You're 100% sure that you stand 100% behind that statement. Any child who is not following rules, their parent needs to go to jail. You say positive, positive, positive. And see, things you have to do stuff like, I really don't think that people think about what they saying all the way when they say it. All right, let me ask you this, Stephanie. I wish you would call 717-5464. It would be so much easier that way. Stephanie, do you have any children? Do you have any children? Because I want you to know that your statement is wholly, like every piece of it is unreasonable, irrational, illogical. You have 2 daughters. Stephanie, you have 2 daughters. Have your 2 daughters ever broken a rule? Ever broken any rule? Even one rule? Ever? A rule? Like, there's a lot of times there's a rule. No talking in class. That's a rule. Has either of your daughters ever broken a single rule? Ever? I really don't have to wait for you. You say they've only broken home rules. Only broken home rules. Never broken a rule. So they never talked in class when they wasn't supposed to. Because that's a rule. They never did that. I'm trying to get you to just kind of back off to see how unreasonable what you're saying is. It's unreasonable, it's illogical, it's all of that stuff. You going too hard. You know what I'm saying? You going too hard. Sierra broke a rule about doing homework in pencil by writing in pen. So yes, Sierra, your mama should have went to jail for that. Your mama should have went to, according to Stephanie, your mama should have went to jail because you did your homework in pen and not pencil. It's not reasonable. What you said is not reasonable. So then let's talk about, because, sometimes our pride be too much to even admit that maybe we was wrong. We worded the thing wrong. We didn't think it all the way through, blah, blah, blah. So let's assume what you're saying is if a child breaks the law, then you believe that their parent should go to jail. Even that is not reasonable. Stephanie says, see, you're being ridiculous. I'm talking about killings. Stephanie, that's what I told you. I read your thing. I don't know how many times. I gave you, I don't know how many opportunities to say, I even stressed any child. I stressed rule. I stressed all of that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not being ridiculous. Your statement was ridiculous. And we're clearly not just talking about killings, because we're talking about the kids who downtown jumped people. They didn't kill nobody. They jumped people. So we're clearly not just talking about killings. I don't know how many opportunities did I give her to say, okay, I might be overreaching. I gave her a lot of opportunities. A lot of them. So I wasn't the one being ridiculous. The statement was ridiculous, which is why I was trying to then address the so you're saying any child who kills somebody, their parents should go to jail. Even that's not reasonable. Because, self-defense. So even that's not reasonable. Why do we have to be so extreme? Why do we have to be? And that's why, I think that's a part of why we can't come up with solutions. And, why other people find it so easy and simple to put our kids in these categories. Talk about them and talk about shooting them and, killing them and jailing parents and all of that kind of stuff. We can't have reasonable conversations off of unreasonable premises. But okay, I don't have the answers. I really just kind of wanted to point out what the mindset is and make you know that even though we can acknowledge that some of us can acknowledge that the premise that any kid who does anything wrong, their parents should be sentenced to jail and all of that kind of stuff, we can look at it and we can acknowledge that it's not reasonable. There's a segment of another community that has now had that idea put in their head that that's what needs to happen. And I'm not going to, look, I wouldn't be shocked the way that everybody is blowing this stuff up. If you actually, y'all don't, again, I listened for, how long do it take me to get there? Probably about 20 minutes. I think I heard 1, 2, 3, 4 calls that I can recall, along with the host. And 3 of the 4 calls and the host brought up shooting those kids downtown. Almost as if I wouldn't be shocked if now you see a whole lot of white men walking around downtown with guns, just waiting for somebody to jump them so they could shoot them, so they could have an excuse to do it. Because they frustrated as heck for no reason. They frustrated for no reason. And they want to see somebody pay for no reason. Cindy says, is that what they said on 700? 3 of the 4 and the host talked longingly about when one of these kids gets shot. When somebody is down there with a concealed carry weapon or an open carry weapon and somebody does something to them and they pull out their gun and they shoot them. 3 of the 4 calls that I heard and the host all talked about that same thing. I can't wait till they run across the wrong person. It's gonna happen. They're gonna run across the wrong person and they're gonna shoot them. I can't wait till it happens. And then, of course, you're gonna hear, oh, my child didn't do this and my child didn't do that. Then they'll learn. Well, no, they won't even learn then. Cindy says, who was the host? Scott Song. 700. WLW. This morning. Was it? Because I don't remember if it was either 9:30 to 10 or 10 to 10:30. So from 9:30 to 10:30. I only listened again for about 20 minutes. So don't be surprised if they start looking for ways to lock up parents And again, there'll be a lot of us that'll be down with it. Unless they start locking up their parents. Then they'll be mad talking about locking up more of our parents. But some of y'all some of y'all agree with them. Some of y'all agree with them. There was something else. Taylor Swift sent the cease and desist letter. I'm moving on topics. Taylor Swift sent, I just thought I had to look up the story. Taylor Swift sent the cease and desist letter to the man who tracks all of these private jets and stuff. She wants him to stop tracking her jet. It says that they might sue him. Somehow they're painting the picture that, hey, look, him tracking her jet and making that information public puts her in jeopardy. She has stalkers. And basically he's telling those stalkers where she is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so she's threatening legal action if he doesn't stop. I'm on his side, in case y'all didn't know. I'm 100% on his side. Daryl says he has a right to for her safety. Dina says that's creepy. Brent, Elon Musk also threatened to sue him. Daryl, I guess technically you can sue anybody for anything. Okay? But Yissy, I know I butchered your name. Exactly the point. It's already public information. It's not like he's going and getting some top secret information that he's making public. He's taking public information and showing it to the public. He's not doing anything illegal or secretive or any of that kind of stuff. None of that. He's taking public information, Daryl, and giving it to the public. How can you make somebody not share public information with the public? Like, I don't understand the legal premise behind that. Diane says, hold on. For what purpose? Oh, I don't know, for his own purpose. Don't matter what the purpose is. Don't matter what the purpose is, in my opinion. Quit saying my name so zestified. I don't even know what that means, Daryl. Daryl? You want me to call you Daryl? I don't know what that means, Daryl. I hope that ain't zestified. But yeah, y'all, I don't think enough of us understand what public information is and how you get it and what you're allowed to do with it. Like Stephanie wants to know, is that invasion of privacy? No, because it's public information. Look, public information is information that belongs to the public. That's why they put it, they're not allowed to keep it secret. Like there's certain things that they can keep secret, but other things that they can't. It's public information. Like, say you want to know how much money does the city solicitor make? Guess what? The city solicitor works for the city, public, and is paid with taxpayer dollars, public funds. So you have a right to know that information. And they have to keep that information. And if you ask for it, they're supposed to give it to you. Period. Because it's your information. Believe it or not, you are the public. You're the public. You're the public. So if you go down to, say, the city hall and say, I want to see how much money the city solicitor earns or made last year. They can't. But they're not supposed to be like, well, why you want to know? Hold on. So if you don't like my reason for wanting to know, you're not going to give me the information? Nope. I need to know why you want to know. They can't do that. But that's his private, or her, I don't know who the city solicitor is. I don't know if it's a male or female. That's their private money that they make. Like, no, that's taxpayer dollars that we pay. And I have a right to know. It's public information. And all public information is supposed to be handled that way. Well, again, there are some exceptions. Like, you can't be like, oh, I got a beef with this police officer. Give me his address. They probably not giving you that officer's address. That's not, that's not public information. But there's certain information that's public that you have a right to, no matter what your motive. Do we all understand that now? So, this information is public information that he's tracking because they have to, and I don't understand the whole aviation field and all of that kind of stuff, but they have to, all of that, like, you can't just legally, you can't just jump in an airplane and fly it from here to, I don't know, Indianapolis. Nobody know. Nobody, like, no, that stuff have to be cleared. They need to know what's the flight number, I believe, who gonna be on the flight, where's the flight leaving, and where's the flight going, and what time the flight leaving, and, they'll know what time the flight is supposed to arrive. All of that information, I think the FAA, because you have to have a flight plan. You can't just out of nowhere, without telling nobody, jump in your private plane and fly from, Dallas to, I don't know, Tampa, Florida. FAA got to know that because there's other planes up there. You know what I'm saying? They don't want y'all crashing into each other. So all of that stuff has to be public. It has to be filed with the FAA. Thus, it becomes public information. That means you could request that information. And this guy, I don't know where, I think there's a website or something that he uses to track all of this public information. Again, it's not just Taylor Swift. Like I believe Brent mentioned Elon Musk. He be tracking Elon Musk. He be tracking a whole lot of people. He tracks a whole lot of people. I don't know why he's tracking these people. And it kind of don't matter. It don't matter. So I don't think whatever legal action they take is going to be effective. Like, Janice says, yes, it's public information, but how many people are actually looking up her flight information? But he decides to share it. And let me go back to the city solicitor. So I decide to find out how much the city solicitor make. And then I decide to come on here and share it and say the city solicitor make $123,635.96. City solicitor can't then come to me and say, I'm suing you for what? For releasing my information, but it's public information. You can't, I mean, I guess again, anybody can sue anybody. But you can't sue me for telling people stuff they got a right to know. I mean, if you really think about the ramifications of what people are asking. Hold on. He's potentially dangerous. People ordinarily aren't looking at her flight plan. That's, again, I don't think y'all being reasonable here. You can't say, hey, it's dangerous to look at public information. You can't. But to say it's dangerous to look at public information is unreasonable. Again, the city solicitor can make that same argument and then carry that out, which is something people very rarely ever do. So now you're going to restrict access to public information. Or you're going to say it's illegal for you to get public information and then share said public information. Or, you know what? It's now, if you don't have a good reason to want the public information, then you can't get the public information. Or if we don't like the public information that you want, then you can't have it. Like, now imagine police beat a dude down. Let's say beat him to death. George Floyd, just that girl with the camera wasn't there. But we got police body cam. You request, the media request the police body cam. But y'all done made it illegal. Well, what's the purpose of you wanting that body cam footage? Because y'all don't like that a guy's tracking public information and sharing it. I know that people don't really think things through in that way. But once you start restricting people from access to public information and the ability to share it, do you know how many investigations and scandals have been handled and leaked out into the public because some reporter asked for some public information and tied some dots together using public information? Some money didn't add up, but nobody would have known because nobody wouldn't. Ordinary people ain't looking for that information. Jen says, I believe we get into muddy waters in many cases. Flight plans are much more sensitive than salaries or police occurrences. How? How? It's public information. How is it more sensitive? How? And again, once you start carving out pieces of public information that you're not allowed to get, you think it's gonna stop? Well, we don't think people should be able to get people's flight plans. Okay. Then somebody else gonna be like, well, we don't think people should be able to get people's salaries. Well, okay. Well, we don't think people should be able to get police videos. Well, okay. Once you start carving out exceptions, next thing you know, you can't get. There's no such thing as public information. It's bad enough that a lot of people don't understand that some information is public information. But now we gotta like the public information? Dina says that's how Fannie Willis and her boo got caught. When you think about it, probably. Yeah. People want to know, but what did you spend this money on? Well, it ain't nobody business. Janice says safety. I don't understand. Just you saying the word safety. What does that mean? I don't know what you're talking about. What's unsafe about getting public information? What's not safe about that? That same, y'all think I'd be crazy, but I've heard them not want to release information, like law enforcement information, for their safety. So safety, in y'all opinion, is safety a good enough reason? Just generic safety. That's a good enough reason to not give people public information. It's not. I certainly hope. I secretly, I hope she sues. I hope she sues him. And I hope some civil rights organization takes his case. And they shut this down. And they say to her and her attorneys and basically to the United States and everybody involved, he's gathering public information. You don't have to like that he's gathering public information. You don't have to like what he's doing with the public information. You don't have to like the fact that it's okay for him to gather said public information. But you can't stop him from gathering public information, because if we can stop him from gathering public information because we don't like what he's doing with it, the flight is public, but the passenger information is private. I would imagine their personal information is private and that he doesn't get that. Like, my guess is he don't get Taylor Swift's social security number and the address that she lives, I would imagine he doesn't get that information. But he gets the flight number, the flight path, where it's leaving, where it's landing, and who's on board. My guess is he's getting all that information. And I don't think you can use, I'm fairly certain, even on a private plane, I would imagine the FAA frowns on the idea of using a fake name. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't get on Taylor Swift's flight and be like, well, just call me Jesse James. And they're going to be like, hold on. You sure that person's name is Jesse James? Like, or they find out, like, no, it was Emanuel Livingston, but he said his name was Jesse James. Somebody getting in trouble. Somebody getting in trouble. Samuel says, it's against the law. What's against the law? Giving a fake name for a flight? I would imagine that it is. Stephanie says, that's a stalker waiting to happen with all that information. Well, guess what? When you fly somewhere, all that information is there too. You ever, you hear about a plane crash? They got all that information. And some of that information is how they determine, who was actually on the flight, who didn't make the flight, how many survivors we got. Let's match them up. Okay, you. Okay, we missing 4 names. Those 4 people didn't survive. It's public information. It's public information. Do y'all understand how much of y'all information is public information? Samuel says, remember all those children on Epstein's log and no one knew who they were? Public information. And y'all know how they're I guess trying to come up with all of these people. Like they're like, so and so was on a flight with Jeffrey Epstein. You know how they knew he was on a flight with Jeffrey Epstein? Because he was on the log. They had to file that information. They had to put that information in there. Brent says, according to Chat GPT-4, the passenger manifest on a private plane is not public information, but the tail number, flight plan, and real-time location are. That might be true. What I read earlier didn't say that. But I could have misunderstood. I'll be misunderstanding stuff. So maybe that's what she can do if she got a problem with it. Chat GPT-4 just gave her the solution. Buy a few private planes and just send them around the country. And then nobody will ever know which one you were actually on. Logic Slayer. Oh, you're about to make people mad. Even your address and amount you paid for your home is public information available on the county auditor site. Uh-oh, people about to get mad. I guess that shouldn't be public, right? Safety! It's surprising what information is public. And if some of these people had their way, that stuff wouldn't be public. That stuff wouldn't be public because it's creepy. So I hope she does sue and he wins in spectacular fashion. Raven Monday, who's here, by the way. Raven Monday. I want you to know I'm upset with both you and Roscoe. I didn't find out that y'all wasn't together until everybody else found out. And I should have been the first to know. When y'all broke up, and when y'all hung up the phone or walked away and got in the car or whatever, I should have got 2 calls. One from you, one from him. Said we broke up. You're no longer going to be in any wedding vows. But y'all treated me like everybody else. Like he didn't tell me and you didn't tell me. I'm mad at both of y'all about that. I should have known. I should have been the third person to know. You and him first, me first and second, me third. But she says, wait, are we upset about the illusion of privacy today? I don't even know that they're upset about the illusion. First, I think there are some people who genuinely don't understand what public records are. They don't understand that there's a lot of stuff out there that people have access to that they can ask for. I think that's one of the things that people are mad at Stephanie Dumas' sister because she's requesting public records that probably don't exist. They should, but they don't. And I think she's requesting them because she knows that they don't exist. And, you know, I think she's been vindictive and she wants to point out that maybe something shady is going on. I don't know if something shady is going on, but that's that. So I think as people begin to understand what public information is, it is shocking to some people who don't know. But then, you know, there's this reaction to it. Like, whoa, I don't want people knowing that information about me. Whoa, 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 whoa. But it's like, I don't know what to tell you. People gonna know it. Well, make it so they can't find out. Yeah, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. Because if we start making public information private, where do we stop? And then how do we uncover scandals that, you know, shouldn't exist? So I don't think they're upset about the illusion of privacy. I think there's certain people who just didn't even understand that, like, public records exist and they have a right to them. But we solved that. We solved that. I'm sorry. It was kind of unexpected and we were quietly dealing with it. We were trying to work through some stuff, but it just didn't go as planned. Love you though, and appreciate for being the connection between us. You could pour that stuff on somebody else. I should have even been told when it was an issue. Like, he should have been calling me like she didn't cook my steak right. Like, all right, I'm making a note of it. I should have known all of that stuff. Nah, y'all know, I still got absolute love for both of y'all, and y'all know that won't change, so it don't matter. But yeah, that's what they're mad about. You're making Raven's private information public. No, she made it public. That's how I found out. I didn't even find out live, because, like, Saturday mornings, I usually be sleeping. I miss her show and I had to catch the replay. And so I didn't even find out live on the show. I found out after all of her followers. But she made it public. She made it public. But that's it for that's it for Taylor Swift. Hold on. One more thing about Taylor Swift. Why y'all mad at that girl going to the Super Bowl to support her boyfriend? Let that girl go support her boyfriend. I could see how it would be annoying if you're watching a game and they keep cutting to the same person. They keep cutting to one person. They keep cutting to one person or whatever. I could see how that would be annoying. But in the case that it is annoying, just stop watching the games. Like me, I'm not annoyed by it even a little bit, because I'm not watching the games. So you could come on with me and you won't be annoyed by Taylor Swift at the games no more. Just be reasonable and stop watching that stuff. Crystal said, this is just a question, not pointing fingers at anyone on here. Why is it that when the celebrities are holding the favor of certain people, the celebrities' information is considered private or breaking the law, but when the celebrities aren't, admired by the individual, then the consensus about the celebrity's private information is considered the public having the right to know? I don't understand what you're talking about. Any public information is public. So genuinely, I don't know what you're asking. Genuinely, I don't know what you're asking. Stephanie says, I could care less. Let her live her life. Stephanie, you know that's one of my pet peeves. Hate it when people say that. Because when you say you could care less, that means you actually care some amount. And there's room to care less. The saying is, I couldn't care less. That means I care so little that I couldn't possibly care any less. So you mean you couldn't care less. Not you could care less. But that's just my pet peeve. I couldn't not say it. Caller.
How you doing, Emanuel? This is Crystal.
Crystal?
Yep,
Hey, Crystal, how you doing?
I'm good.
What's-
So, what I was saying is, when people hold like a celebrity admiration, then they be all up in arms and upset if somebody is in their personal business and screaming like Taylor Swift, "Oh, that's wrong. This is right." But when the celebrity is not admired by the public or not considered, I guess, what they feel of interest, then they go back to that old narrative that, oh, well, they shouldn't be upset. They're public figures. The public has the right to know.
Again, when I say I'm not sure what you're talking about, I think you're talking about two different things. Like who Taylor Swift is dating. I mean, other than her making it public, ain't nobody business. If she was like, I don't want y'all to know, she don't want y'all to know. If she had an abortion or something like that, that ain't none of y'all business, no matter who she is. But when you're talking about public information, well, that's public. So it don't matter who the celebrity is or who the person is. But I'm not sure if that's the difference that you're making.
Probably yes, but I'm just saying the people in general that be outraged. I'm not a person who feels like because a person decides that they want to be a celebrity that I now have a right to know everything that goes on in their life. So when a person does that because you like them and people are upset, that's one thing. But when you don't care for that person, then you feel like everybody should invade their life, like the paparazzi and all of that, because they have no privacy because they chose to be a public figure. That's not right.
Well, I'm not sure that I agree with you, though. I mean, we have to take it in steps. In terms of the paparazzi, I can take picture of anybody I want to in public. So whether you're a big time celebrity or just a bum on the street, if you are out in public, I got a right to take pictures of you. So I think it actually swings the other way as people give like celebrity, oh, leave him alone, but I think people genuinely don't understand that you have no expectation of privacy in public. So yeah, if I see Beyonce walking down the street and pull out my camera and take pictures of her, that's my right. She's in public. Now, with regard to celebrities giving up their privacy, I think to some degree you do. When you become a celebrity, you know what you're doing. You and especially when you become, influential, like if you take money to advertise a product, you know that means there are a number of people that will follow your influence. There's a good chance you're getting paid because of that. And I say, if you don't want that extra attention, give up your celebrity. But it's a package deal. So yeah, to some degree, you give up some level of privacy. And any privacy that you want, you have to work really hard to preserve it because you've chosen a job or whatever that is heavy in the public eye. And you just gotta know people gonna be all up in your business.
I understand that, but so for some people, many people, people that listen to you on the radio, you are now considered a public figure.
Okay.
To some people, celebrity status.
Okay.
do they have the right to know everything that go on in your life?
They have a right to know everything, I guess, that they can find out. And if I don't want you to know something, it's my job to protect it.
Okay.
Like if I got a side piece, which I don't have a side piece. But if I got a side piece, it's my job to keep that a secret from everybody. Now, if somebody see me with my side piece, like, ooh, I saw Emanuel Livingston with a side piece, how am I gonna be mad at them? I should have kept that out of the public eye because I know people watching me.
Okay. Better understand it. I just was asking a question.
I understand your question. Yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. All right.
Thank you so much.
Crystal, thank you for your call.
Bye-bye.
All right. All right, that's Crystal. I understand what she's saying. And it do seem fair. I guess if it's, if you like that celebrity or whatever. But, again, look, at the same time, we want information about our politicians and stuff public. We want to know who they are. We want to know what they doing. We want to know where they go. We want all of that stuff. Because they're public figures. We want to be all up in their business. Well, I don't care if Tim Scott married or not. But Tim Scott got to pretend to love a white woman. Because, it's hard to live in that closet as a political figure. So he understand I'm out here in politics and there's a certain way that I have to present myself. Now I got to watch him on the beach on his knee to some woman that he probably ain't ever going to touch intimately. He understands. I got to keep my closet stuff in the closet. Lindsey Graham get it too. We have no idea nothing about Lindsey Graham's love life. Because Lindsey Graham keep that stuff secret. He don't want you to know what human he's having contact with. Because he know we will be all in his business. It's just something you got to do, once you hit a certain level. And I'm not at that level. Trust me, I'm not at that level. I'm not at that level. But I appreciate the idea that I might be. Oh. Hold on, Raven say, I ain't even famous and I'm getting bullied for my ex-man's name. I feel for real famous. You are famous. You are on The Buzz. You are a talk show host on 1230 The Buzz. That's some big time stuff. Now, when I was there, it wasn't that big of a deal. But now, that is some big time stuff. Stephanie says, it's like Princess Diana not liking the paparazzi until she wanted to use them for whatever reason she wanted. And people do use the paparazzi. They do. They leak to them where they're going to be and all of that kind of stuff. Did Micro Center charge you more after they recognized you? No. No, they did not. And I don't know that anybody at Micro Center recognized me, except for when that guy was following me around the store. I guess what they call them, loss prevention or whatever. When they were following me around the store, that's the only time they recognized me. But yeah, no, I'm comfortable being nobody. I love behind the scenes. I love it. Y'all just don't understand. The behind the scenes stuff is the exciting stuff. It's the exciting stuff. Everybody want to be the celebrity, whatever, but behind the scenes stuff is where it's at. Emmanuel's name ring bells around Cincinnati. That was funny. That was funny. Y'all, it wasn't funny to y'all, but it was hilarious to me. Oh, y'all, I got to get out of here. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day. It was another story or two that I wanted to talk about, but I can't think of what it was. I love being on the production side of things. Yeah. Okay, let me say this. The show is technically officially over. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, be the reason that somebody smiles and all that good stuff. Till next time, I'm out, y'all. Peace. Okay, the show is officially over. Now, let's just talk for a minute. Stephanie says, will you be in the lab tomorrow? I fully intend on being here tomorrow. Again, tomorrow after this, I got to go and do some stuff. But my plan is to be here. That's the plan. And hopefully I have some other stuff to talk about. But yeah, the show's officially over. Raven, I know you can't say too much, but what happened today with the show? Why was it so bad from a technical standpoint? Who fault was? You can't say who fault it was. You can't tell me. I know you can't, but I could probably call you and find out like one-on-one, but I want to know so bad, like, do they not go places and do stuff? Is there no one there now that understands how to set everything up? Like, what is going on? I don't understand. There's no reason. Like, and I say this stuff is simple because it's simple, but of course you have to have like a basic understanding of some stuff. But why was it so bad? Janice says, what was so bad? When the show started, you couldn't hear. He was on the air. He wasn't even sure, Lincoln Ware, he wasn't even sure he was on the air. He couldn't hear nothing through his headphones. Then it came on, and the sound was like too low and staticky. And then it got like super loud. They couldn't, seemingly they couldn't adjust the volume of mic number 2. So every time somebody talked into it, it would just, it was bad. It was bad. Stephanie says, who's being negative now? Oh, I'm being realistic. It was bad. I'm sorry, I put the wrong thing. It was bad. It was bad. That's not being negative. I guess I want to know some stuff that ain't none of my business. But it shouldn't be that bad. They got to have somebody. They have to get somebody on staff who understands the kind of sound portion of it. Key.
Hey, what's going on, Emmanuel? How are you?
I'm good. Key, hold on. Let me call you back.
Okay.
All right. Raven Monday.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, a lot of stuff is
Hold on. Before you answer the question, let me say this.
Okay.
Don't answer the question if it's going to get you in trouble.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not. Because it ain't really like no blame to be had for real. It's more so just we just having some staffing, how can I put this? some staffing issues right now and promotions. You know, Angel is not the head of our promotions department anymore.
Right.
So her absence has kind of left just some things, you know, that are in the state right now that we just gonna have to kind of soldier through until somebody can come over and take over that department. Now, I will say, Ariel does an amazing job, and her counterpart, they do the best that they can do. But we are in a situation right now where there's only 2 people who have only been doing that job for less than a year, trying to run an entire department by themselves. And so when things like this happen, sometimes they just be put in situations they ain't never been in before. They don't really have enough training to know exactly what to do in certain hard situations. And so today with Corinthian, number one, I don't know if somebody went out and like really understood the entirety of what that event was supposed to be and what all was going on. So they set him up in a place where if you listen to the show, all throughout the show, somebody in the background is screaming on the mic. So he kind of had to fight through that. Me and you also know the kind of on-air talent that we're dealing with when it's a Lincoln Ware. So if anything is going wrong, instead of kind of like quietly soldiering through it, he gonna point it out and he gonna complain the whole time. So that didn't really like make it any better than what it was. But we know Lincoln Ware. If he don't like something, he gonna tell you, and he don't care who's listening. So it was a number of factors, but mostly it was just that, you know, promotions is kind of like, they kind of struggling. They a 2-man team right now, and they needed some help, but you know, the staff wasn't there to provide the help that they needed, so it just was what it was. But I think like eventually they figured it out, and it was all right.
Yeah, eventually it did. It got better. I'm disappointed by that. Maybe they should have thought about that shit when they was firing people for not taking vaccines, but that's a whole different story.
Yes, absolutely.
Today
was definitely a day where I could say, and we needed an Emanuel Livingston on site.
No, not just me, because a lot of people really do think, like, ooh, they fired you. They fired a lot of people for not taking that vaccine.
They did. Like it wasn't just a "We Hate Emanuel" campaign.
No.
A lot of people made the same decision that you made, and you know, unfortunately, a lot of those positions have not been filled, and so we're literally working at half of the capacity that we used to be at one point in time, and so we're just trying to do the best we can with what we got.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, it was rocky, but you know, it just is what it is. At this point, you just kind of have to like work with what you got, and that's what we did today. And for once, I can say that ain't none of that wasn't my fault. I don't have no responsibility.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Stop fronting.
No, I don't.
It was all your fault. Everything that go bad there is your fault.
It wasn't none of that my fault. I did exactly what I was supposed to do.
Nah, they really do. They need to get somebody there who has an understanding of, you know, setting up sound and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and or just bring somebody in to like properly train our promotions assistants to do that. Like, I ain't gonna say that they don't know what they're doing, because that's not true. They know what they're doing. It's just that they are used to being able to do what they do in a lot less stressful environments, and so they don't really have to like think as quick on their feet as they did at Corinthian. Because like I said, there's a lot going on in that space, and they're pretty much not like used to having to run point in them situations. They're a department who is working around not only a staffing issue, but just they ain't been here that long. So it's kind of like throwing somebody who's green in the game, trying to make them like do something that a professional who's been doing it for years does.
And let me say this, Raven, and I don't know if you know this or a lot of them know that, but realistically, the job that they're doing, that's not their job.
Yeah,
there should be an actual, we used to call it a remote tech. a person who's familiar with the technical part of a remote,
Yeah.
setting up the mics and routing everything correctly and all of that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
making sure the sound the way it's supposed to sound. Not a promotions person, but an actual remote tech who that is
And we don't
his
have that
or
right
her job. And they haven't had that for years. So...
Yeah. And so what's been happening is our promotions assistants have been kind of low-key, halfway, half-ass trained in doing that position, and you get what you get. Like when you don't properly, like when you don't put things in place that are supposed to be in place, you just kind of have to deal with the consequences, and that's what happened today.
Yeah, that's sad.
But again, I do want to say that, like, even with all the extra mess, they did the best they could, and they could have been worse. I'll say that. It could have been worse.
Yeah, yes, I agree. Okay.
But, all right.
Other than that, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
You're recovering. I don't know how long ago you and Roscoe broke up, but you recovering emotionally?
Yeah, I'm having a lot of. I didn't know this was gonna turn into Dr. Phil today, but I've been just been sitting with myself and a lot of realizations. You know, hindsight is 20/20, and so that's why I'm just never gonna be the ex that be out here bad mouthing that man. He loved me the best way he could. I still have love for him. We don't communicate as of right now, but I don't hate him or I'm not mad at him. He didn't like hurt me or lie to me or none of that goofy stuff. We just kind of came to a conclusion that you're not my person, and you know, that's okay. Like, I wish him well. I hope he got a little date for Valentine's Day. I hope he makes some girl very happy on the 14th. It just won't be me, and I'm okay with that.
And what are you doing for Valentine's Day?
I have no idea. Probably working.
Oh, okay.
I have no interest in nothing else. Twin keep asking me to go to some comedy show or something with him, but I don't want to go. I'm chilling right now. I'm not looking for nobody. I'm not looking at nobody. I'm good. I'm all right.
But you can't go to a comedy show as a friend?
Not with twins.
Why?
I just would rather not.
Okay.
I feel like it's too much. I feel like I don't know. I would prefer not to. I'm gonna leave it at that. I would prefer not to.
All right. All right. Well, I hope everything. I'm not gonna ask you no more questions. I hope.
Okay.
I hope everything go all right.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. That was Raven Monday, the Raven Monday. Don't twin, have a woman and a young child. Maybe that's not his woman no more. If he try to take her out on Valentine's Day, it's a good chance that that's not his woman. And if that's not his woman, I know why. He didn't assert himself. He was probably trying that newfangled man stuff. I told him to tell her flat out, let that baby suck that titty, and he didn't do it. Y'all don't understand, women love that stuff. Women love it when a man take charge. They love it. That's all he had to do. So I don't know if they still together or not. I imagine they not if he asking another woman out for Valentine's Day. But I'm not even sure that was his woman. I tried to pin him down on that one day, and he was kind of, and I was like, okay, that might not be his woman. So, all right. I said I was going to key call in, and I did say I was going to call her back. So, I try to, let me see. Let me call. I'm going to turn it, mute that.
Hello?
Key!
Hey, what's going on, Emanuel?
Hey! I said I was going to call you back. Yeah. I'm a man of my word.
Okay, now why you do that? Now everybody gonna be asking you what's her number.
Well, see here, which is different than, well, I don't know now, but at the Buzz, the entire time I was at the Buzz, the call-in line, we never had caller ID. So I wouldn't have known your number. Of course, here I have caller ID, but
Right.
yeah,
I know. That's what
at the
I'm saying.
radio
Now people gonna be,
station.
you shouldn't have disclosed that. Now people gonna be like, "What's her number? Put it in the chat."
Well, I would never give somebody your number unless you said it was okay. Like CK, if you tell me it's okay,
Emmanuel,
I'm just
why do
saying.
you keep bringing this person
I'm just
up?
saying, if you tell me it's okay,
You
that's just
and
for
Who else?
example.
Is it Daryl Carpenter or is David Herring? One of y'all three. Would y'all stop it?
No, that was just an example. I could have used
No,
anybody.
but don't use that example.
Could have used
okay?
anybody, but
Say like Usher or something like that. Don't use that example, okay?
I try to use realistic examples. Like,
Oh, so you trying to say Usher is not a realistic person for me? Is that what you trying
I'm
to say?
trying to say that
Trying
Usher
to cut
don't.
me up like that?
I'm trying to say Usher don't call this show, so Usher ain't never asked about you.
But
So,
how you know he ain't in the chat? In the bushes.
Usher ain't in the bushes.
He ain't
Or at
in the
least
bushes.
He not
getting
in the
ready for
bushes
Super Bowl, huh?
in the chat here. I don't know what Usher do because he did
He
stay
getting
with
ready
P
for
Diddy
Super
for a
Bowl,
little bit. But so what's on your mind?
Jay, I forgot what I called.
Well, hold
for.
on. Gather your thoughts. Let me say this real quick.
Okay, go ahead and say it.
People, at the Buzz, we never had caller ID.
Oh, that's what I know what I gotta say.
I
know what
had
called.
a number of people accuse me of not answering the phone when they called. And they know I saw their number and I intentionally didn't answer the phone or whatever. And like people legitimately called my supervisors, and I believe a few times people called corporate trying to get me fired for not answering their calls. And I would have to explain to corporate, which is weird that for real, corporate used to call me and ask me things when people were trying to get me fired. And I had to explain to corporate, y'all know this telesystem that we have does not have caller ID. And it would dawn on them like, oh yeah, so you couldn't have been not intentionally not answering the call because it was that person, because you don't have caller ID. So there was a few times when that happened. People do, Lamont say, Dan, they be on your ass. Like, yeah, there was a lot of people who would try to get me fired. And just last thing, probably not the last thing, but Lincoln Ware tried to put out there that, I would call corporate on him. I have never in my life attempted. Hold on, I want to make sure I'm correct when I say this.
Do Mr. Lincoln listen to your show? Because you talk about him an awful lot like he be listening.
No, he don't listen.
Okay.
He don't listen. But if he was, I would say the same thing.
I already know. That's why I thought he'd be listening.
I don't think I've ever in my life made a phone call in an attempt to have a black man lose his job ever one time. Not even one time in my life have I ever done that. So the notion that I would be calling corporate on him and all that kind of stuff, that's not, I don't operate like that. If I got a beef with you, especially if I got your phone number, I'ma either call you or text you like, yo, we got a beef, man. Let's handle this. However, you know what I'm saying? I want to talk it out, handle it. That not, I ain't talking about fighting nobody because what good do that serve? But, my thing is we got beef. Let's talk about what the issue is and let's come up with a resolution that's good for both of us. I'm not calling corporate. I'm not calling your people. If I know you and I got your number, I'm calling you one-on-one. We can talk about it. We can text about it. We can meet up and talk about it. We can go have beer/water summit and talk about it. But I will not be calling nobody to try to get no black man to lose his job unless, he goes like so far overboard, and that's never happened.
Oh, yeah, because I think because y'all had like switchboards where you just press a button that light up.
Yeah, it's buttons that light up.
Most people don't know that. They probably think y'all had like a regular phone with an ID on there. They don't know like it's just a board with lights on it, and whatever light lit up, that's the line that's ringing.
Right. Right. And so that's why I never knew who was like when I was telling y'all about the innovator, Eric
Mhm.
Benford. I never knew it was him calling. If we would have had caller ID, I would have just ignored that call.
Right,
Like,
but you just pressing buttons
yeah,
and
it's just
light
a
up.
light flashing.
Right.
I got to answer it.
Yeah. But yeah, so you asking the questions about the what was going on with the remote. So do that mean you gonna go back to the buzz, or what does that
No,
mean?
no, that does not mean that at all.
Because it sounded like you wanted to help out
I
badly, the
did
way
want to
you was
help.
talking. Why
Look,
didn't you go over there then?
well, I don't want to help that bad. Number one, I was at work. But number two, no, I don't want to help that bad. But there is a part of me, like I'm telling you, I've done this, I don't know how many times. Me and Mrs. Livingston now have an understanding that I'm not allowed to do this anymore. I've walked into situations where the sound was just bad. And I've walked over to the sound booth and said, can I help y'all? And sometimes people get mad, and sometimes people be like, yeah, we don't know what we doing. So it's just in me. If I walk into your church or I walk into your, show, like I'm not gonna do that like down at the U.S. Bank Arena or nothing like that, or what is it, Heritage Bank Arena now. I'm not gonna do that down there. But I've been at a gala at Duke Energy Center, and the sound was bad, and I couldn't help it. I had to walk over there like, can I help y'all? And they was like, no, we got it. And I was like, all right. And then eventually I was like, can I? Because you know what the problem is, and they like, no, we got it. But I think they listened because then they fixed it, and I'm like, cool. But I can't, I. So if I would have been there, there's a chance that if somebody would have asked me, I would have helped. But yeah.
Well, if you would have been there, Mr. Lincoln would have said something to you. He would have asked you to help. So why you didn't just show up? Just pop up there.
I was at work. I was at work.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I got a question.
Okay.
The chat is blurry, so hey, everybody, I can't see y'all comments because it's blurry on my end.
Blurry.
But like not the live chat, but like you got. I'm on YouTube, so it's two chats that's up. It's the live chat, and then it's the chat where it's showing like Facebook and YouTube messages, but it's blurry on my end. It does that sometimes. It'll go blurry and then it'll be clear for some reason. I think they do that on purpose. I don't know why. But I just had a question. Like, does anybody, and I don't know if you heard this too, Emanuel, on the job now, and people that like working remote and then sometimes in the office, now they got this new thing that for taxes where you got to fill out certain stuff for your taxes for next year. And it's like some people been working remote since COVID, and now all of a sudden now they doing something different with the taxes. You heard anybody talking about that?
I haven't. No.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? I'm like, they didn't start doing this when COVID first hit, so now why is they doing it like 3-4 years after? You got to do something different on your taxes.
What is it that they're asking you to do on your taxes?
I didn't read it all fully, but it's saying like you got to put like you work, say like for example, you work 2 or 3 days at home, and then the other 2 or 3 days you work in the office. They want to put like, okay, you work remote like 20%, and then you work in the office 80%, and then they want you to put your zip code of where you worked at remote, and then your zip code of where you work at when you at work.
When I'm thinking about it, maybe that is for tax purposes. Like if you work in a certain school district.
Hold on real quick, man. Hold on. Somebody knocking on my door. Hold on.
Who is it? She gotta answer the door. Hold on, I'm trying to listen. Trying to see who it is.
Yes, can I help you?
What'd she say?
At this time.
At this time.
I wasn't aware that you all come after hours.
Oh, she didn't know they was coming after hours. I don't know that you should let them in, Key.
Okay, see, they didn't tell me that you.
Get some ID.
I didn't get any notice.
Get some ID. Make sure they the real people.
What all do you have to do? That's the only thing you got to do? Okay, hold on, because I got my kids in the shower and everything. Hold on.
Yeah, make sure them the real people.
I'm sorry, man. I'm about to call you back later. They maintenance coming after
Hey,
hours.
you better make sure they the real people.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said let me get off this phone and talk to these people.
Yeah, get some ID and stuff.
I know. Shoot, and get have something else behind my back. Okay.
All right, Key.
All right. Yeah.
All right, that's Key. She got to call in tomorrow. We got to make sure Key all right. Got to make sure Key is all right. But we know now that Key got some kids. We know she got some kids. So, CK, I don't know what you do with that, but now you know. Oh, what else? There was. Yeah, this is kind of late for the maintenance man, Raven. She said she didn't know they was coming after hours. She didn't know they was coming after hours. How you know they're the maintenance man? They should. I don't know. Something they should have on ID, and they should have some ID. Something. I don't know. It all depends on what need to get fixed. I just tell them to come back tomorrow. But, that's just me. There's more times than not, things turn out okay. More times than not, things turn out okay. But master plumbers don't have set work hours. Hey, when you lay pipe, you just gotta lay that pipe when it's time to lay the pipe. You can't be talking about, oh, it ain't time. Oh, it's too late. No, when it's time to lay pipe, you just got to lay pipe. As a plumber, I'm just telling you, when it's time to do it, you just got to do it. Y'all, I don't really have nothing else. It was something, I don't remember what it was. I need advice. I know you can't tell me, but maybe others can. Before I met Roscoe, you said get a man who don't smoke or drink, and he'll be a good one. I need updated instructions / dating advice. Let's see. You 30 years old now. Which means you on the upper side. You are rapidly approaching the age where you might be alone for the rest of your life. So you have to be very intentional when you dating, right? You got to be very intentional. You got to know what you want. If you don't know what you want, you in trouble. Like if you 30 or so and you don't know what you want. Yeah, 30 is the upper side. 30 is the upper side. And if you don't know what you want and you still out there, just kind of fishing. I don't think I like this, throw it back, fishing. I don't think I like this, throw it back. You're going to be in trouble. So you got to figure out what it is that you want. And then be very intentional and focused on that. You don't have time to waste. I know, 30, rapidly approaching. Yes. 30 is the upper side. Once you hit 30, and yes, you're rapidly approaching that age, because as we know, time flies. Time flies. And, around 35, 36, you're not married, you in that situation. So what are you dating for? What man are you looking for? Are you looking to get married? Like, for real, are you looking to get married? Because if you're looking to get married, you don't have time to waste. You don't have a year and a half to get to know somebody and all of that kind of stuff. You don't. I'm thinking in about 6 months, if by 6 months he ain't decided and communicated to you in a real genuine way that he wants to marry you, you wasting time. You wasting time. You don't have time to be in a 2-year relationship and then it don't work. If your goal is to get married. Sierra talk about please don't marry somebody after 6 months. All right. You gonna be with somebody for 2 years and then it ain't gonna work. And then you're gonna be 32 or 33. And then you're gonna be out there on the date market again. Then it's gonna take you another 6, 7, 8 months to find somebody, and then you're gonna be with them for 2 years. And then you're gonna be 35. And then you go, I'm just telling you the truth. You got to be intentional. Now, if you just want to go out, have a good time, meet some people, develop some friendships, and, maybe have some sex or whatever, do whatever. Do whatever. But, and here's my advice for anybody, men, women, go in looking for warning signs. Go in looking for warning signs. Like you should be looking to get out. If that make any sense. You should go into, men as well, go into a relationship looking to get out. Because I'm telling you, when you meet somebody and you with them for a while, the little things that you overlooked, they ain't that little after 3, 4, 5 years. They not. I told you I dated a woman who chewed with her mouth open. I couldn't take it. She was cute. She was sexy. She had a nice booty, She chewed with her mouth open. I ignored it as long as I could. And eventually, when it wasn't new no more, when I was used to the draws, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't no, because fellas, y'all understand when it's new, you know what I'm saying? Like, ooh, the draws, you know what I'm saying? You hitting the draws and everything, But once the draws become common, that don't hold you there. And you're not, and then it's like, oh my goodness, excuse my language, because I don't cuss, but these were the thoughts that ran through my head. If this bitch don't close her fucking mouth when she chew, we just sitting there, she did nothing wrong. She just eating, like she always been eating. I overlooked it. Few years down the line, this bitch chewing with her mouth open. Bitch, close your mouth. That's what I was thinking. Oh my God, I got to figure something out. Trying to have off conversations about, chewing with your mouth closed and all that kind of stuff. And every little thing that I overlooked was annoying. Know what you want. Don't waste time going after stuff that you don't want, thinking you can just settle for something that you don't want. Everybody ain't gonna end up married. You allowed to have your standards, even if they are what McConnell say, shallow. You're allowed to have your standards. Just understand whatever your standards are, you're limiting your pool. Oh, I don't want a man this short. All the short dudes is out of your pool. Oh, I don't want a man with no gut. All the gut dudes is out of your pool. Oh, I don't want a dark-skinned brother. All them dark-skinned brothers out of your pool. Now you got a smaller pool. You can have whatever you want as your standard. Just understand that whatever those standards are, you're shrinking the pool of eligible people. I ain't never been one to be like, hey, your standards is too high. Your standards can be as high as you want them. Shahir say, wait a minute now. I thought you didn't curse. I don't curse. I don't curse. I didn't curse just a few minutes ago. I cussed. This is why I can't trust you when you say that you do or don't do certain things. Why I don't trust you're not Dave Stinger. I'm not. And I don't curse. And the only reason that I cussed was because I was telling you the thought that was in my mind. And I had to do it to show the intensity of the irritation. If I would have just said, this woman is not chewing with her mouth, you wouldn't have understood how annoying I was. Or how annoyed. I'm sure I was annoying too. But how annoyed I was. So you got to, you know what I'm saying, I got to put it out there like it is in those cases. But I don't cuss. I don't cuss. Stephanie said there is no perfect person. That's true. There is no perfect person. I mean, except me. But even outside of that, it's not that you're looking for perfection. You got to be honest with yourself and look for those things that you know is a deal breaker for you. That's really what I'm saying. I've known that I don't like people who chew with their mouth open. But she was sexy. She was nice. She was friendly. You know, she was cool. She was fit. But that mouth chewing thing, and I thought, oh, I can just overlook this. Oh, I can just overlook this. If you got deal breakers, like you, because again, you got to know you. If you got deal breakers, no. That's why you go in looking for a reason to get out. And if you don't find a reason to get out, you know what I'm saying, you stay there. I mean, you from day one, this is sound weird. From day one, because if you dating with intention, from day one, you're going in with the intention of whatever that intention is. So if your intention is to get married, day one, you need to move like a person that's trying to marry this person. But again, you got to know what your deal breakers are. And if you see a deal breaker, like, oh, but I really love her, you might try, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, that whole, you chew with your mouth open. Like, the me now, date one, we went out to eat, date one would have been, hey, you chew with your mouth open. And that's like a real pet peeve for me. You can't chew with your mouth closed. Like, can you just try? Let me see you try to chew with your mouth closed. Yeah. Because I can't do mouth open. Can you do this on a regular basis? Like, can you not go back to the mouth open thing? Can you do this on a regular basis? Yes. Okay, cool. But this is just the way I chew. Okay, cool. We not going out on date number 2. I don't have time to waste with a mouth open chewer. You wasting my time. Because I know that's going to get on my nerves. I know that one seemed petty to y'all. But what I'm telling you is that is a pet peeve of mine. That's a pet peeve of mine. Stephanie says, you're looking for perfection if you're shooting down everything a person may have wrong with them. There may be many things. Either you love the person for who they are or walk away. Don't listen, Stephanie. You're going to end up with somebody that you hate. You're not looking for perfection. That's why I said you got to know you. And you got to know what your deal breakers are. Every imperfection is not a deal breaker. Every imperfection is not a deal breaker. That's why I said you got to know you and you got to know your deal breakers. And if it's your deal breaker, break the deal. You don't let it go like, oh, I know I don't like this, but I like him, so I'm going to deal with this. No. LaDonna say, don't look for it. Yes, look for it. You got to look for it. You got to look for it. That's y'all problem. Some of y'all women, that's y'all problem. I really think that's how y'all end up in relationships with people, and y'all be like, well, all the way up until the honeymoon, he was perfect, but then on the honeymoon, I found out this. You don't want to find that stuff out on the honeymoon. You want to look for that day one. Yes, look for it. It sounds shallow and petty. And again, I'm not talking about, like me, is it this don't connect? I'm not talking about, unless that's a deal breaker for you. Like, ooh, I hate to see her in when his beard and his mustache don't connect. Ooh, I hate that. I hate that. Why would you then date a dude who beard and mustache don't connect? But one day you're going to see it and you're going to hate it. You're going to see it and hate it. So if that's just something that you hate, like, I never date an N who beard and mustache don't connect, and then you meet this N and his beard and mustache don't connect, and you like, I'm not even going to pay attention to it. I'm going to just look away. One day you're going to actually look like, this nigga beard and mustache don't connect. I didn't notice it until the honeymoon. Now, look for it. Look for your deal breakers. Again, I'm not saying every flaw that a person has. Just your deal breakers. And, I don't know, I keep trying to click on the wrong thing. All jokes aside, whoever you decide, most definitely be careful. It's some craziness out there. And that's what I'm talking about, LaDonna. Some of y'all don't be looking for craziness. Look for it. Look for signs of crazy. Look for the reason to get out. Don't overlook the signs of crazy. First, look at the eyes. A lot of times you can see crazy in the eyes. I don't understand how women don't see crazy in the eyes. True story. I think I told y'all this story before. I got a friend. I don't want to say her name. I want to say her name, but I'm not going to say her name. But we were doing a remote radio station. Me, Will, and I'll say her name, Keita. We were at the radio station. We were doing a remote. Keita's a beautiful girl. She was, one young woman. And there was this dude working at Kroger. And he was trying to holler at her. And I was like, Keita, don't give him your number. And she was like, why? I was like, he crazy. She was like, how you know he crazy? You ain't never met him before. I had never met him. I just looked at his eyes. I could see the crazy in his eyes. I don't understand how she couldn't see the crazy in his eyes. And I want to say, I don't remember which side Will was on. But I remember Will was there. And either Will was 100% on my side or kind of waffling with her. He came, he tried to holler 2-3 times. When the remote was over, we was breaking down. And he came over and he started talking to Keita. And he seemed like a nice guy. All but the eyes. And he started talking to her and he started telling her about his last relationship. I don't know how they got on the subject. But he got into, like, yeah, and she went to the store, and the store is 1.7 miles away. And I got in the car when she got back from the store, and the car had 1.9 miles on it. And I said, bitch, what happened to the other 0.2 miles? And she was looking at me like I was crazy. And I was ready to choke that bitch. And that's how she gone, where did the extra 0.2 miles come from? I'm not making this up. This is the actual mileage that he said. I don't know why I remember. It was 1.7 miles to and from the store. And she was gone a little too long. And he checked and it was 1.9 miles on the car. And he was ready to choke her. And he was just going on and on. And Keita looked at me. And I just looked at her like, I told you. And he went on with this long story. It was a long, crazy story. And, you know, she didn't give him the digits. But I remember her asking, like, how did you know? What did you see? Help me understand. And I was like, how did you not look in that man's eyes and see crazy? How could you not see it? It was so apparent. And Will was like, yeah, he was definitely crazy. He was definitely crazy. I wasn't going to let you give him your number. Like, but that was after the story. Like, how could you not see that in the eyes? So, yeah, y'all be looking at the wrong stuff. Y'all be looking at the wrong stuff. And again, you can't always see crazy in the eyes. But sometimes you can. Sometimes you can. Stephanie, maybe your husband wasn't a womanizer when you married him. Men go through the change as well as women. That's why people get divorced later. These traits don't happen until in your marriage. Stephanie, who told you that? Who told you that? See, I'm not like, you know, I'm Michael Jackson. I'm not like the other guys. I'm going to tell you the truth. If he's a womanizer, it was in his heart the whole time. It was in his heart the whole time. And there were signs that he was a womanizer. You just didn't see them. You chose to overlook them, or you weren't looking, you weren't looking for them. I'm telling you, he didn't just out of the blue become a womanizer. It was in his heart. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? What, did he get fit? And then, you know, bitches start rolling up on him and he was like, hey, I got a lot of opportunity now, so let me take advantage of it. That's the only way. But other than that, it's definitely talking about not necessarily. All right, you believe that if you want to. You believe that if you want to. You got to go in the door looking for the reason to leave. And if you don't find it, you good. You stay there. There was no reason to leave. I didn't find a reason. I didn't see any issues. But yes, you go in looking for issues, serious issues. So for the people who, you know, saying stuff like, oh, you being, what's the term when you so worried about the physical or whatever? Somebody just posted it. I had coronavirus a few years ago, and so I can't always remember words. But superficial. No. You're not looking for superficial stuff. Unless, you know what I'm saying, there's something superficial that you know you can't deal with. Unless there's something superficial that you know for a fact you can't deal with. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are some things. There are some things. Look, if you got a mole with hair growing out of it, just for me, I'm probably not, you might not be the woman for me. You might not be the woman for me. But that's just me. Like, my little thing, ain't somebody else's little thing, and their little thing ain't somebody else's. So are lace fronts and man units superficial? Women, if he got a man unit and you can't deal with that, and you know what I'm saying, ain't nothing wrong with talking to him. Like, bro, you wearing a wig, man. Is that really how you get down? And he like, well, yeah, I'm it makes me feel more confident in myself, because I'm losing my hair. And so, this is just for me to feel confident. And you like, I don't want to date no man that's got to wear a wig to feel confident. And you might want to consider not being with dude. There is nothing wrong, especially up front. There is nothing wrong with saying, this ain't for me. Like New Edition said, I'm sorry, you're not my kind of girl. It's not your looks, the way you dress. It's not the way you carry yourself. You're just not my kind of girl. Ladies, nothing wrong with saying I'm sorry. Just not my kind of dude. Nothing wrong with it. If she's selling foot videos on OnlyFans, no. Because if she's selling foot videos on OnlyFans, she gonna sell ass on OnlyFans too. You believe what you want to believe. I'm telling you, a chick that'll sell foot videos on OnlyFans will sell ass on OnlyFans. And you have to decide if you all right with your girl showing ass on OnlyFans. If you cool with that, she might, you know what I'm saying? It might be cool for you. Fellas, y'all not, I don't even have to tell y'all this. Y'all not stupid. Shahara talk about that's not true. It is very true. It is very true. It ain't that far of a trip from the foot up to the ass. It ain't that far of a, oh, I was just showing pictures of my feet on OnlyFans and they pay me to do that. They pay me to do that. You like, all right. No, I'm just showing my calf. There's men who really like calves. I've been working out and my calves are really strong and men pay me to do that. All right. No, I'm just showing my thigh because there's men who like thighs and I'm just showing my thighs on OnlyFans. They pay me to do it. You like, all right, cool. Then next thing you know, well, it's only me. I'm not in here with nobody else, so it ain't like I'm cheating. I'm just rubbing it in front of the camera. I got a little toy, this Rose. So I just do the Rose thing in front of the camera, but they pay me for it. But it ain't like I'm in here with somebody else, and it ain't that far of a trip. It ain't that far of a trip. When I say Stephanie sell ass, I mean, let people look at it. She might not, get into full-blown prostitution, but if she ain't got no problem with men paying her to look at her feet and do whatever it is that they do watching her feet, it's not that far of a trip to other things. Not that far of a trip to other things. I'm telling you. Shahara says, yes, it is. It's a very far trip. No, it ain't. It's a few feet. What, about 3 feet tops? It's not that far of a trip. Look, y'all can believe these women if y'all want to. Yeah, it's a very far trip. You wrong and blah, blah, blah. But I don't even know that I had to tell the fellas that. Fellas know if you got a woman, you meet a woman and she telling you that she, got an OnlyFans account, but the only thing in it is her feet. Men know going in, she gonna be rubbing her coochie on OnlyFans before long. Men know that going in. And he's made a decision on the spot. I'm okay with my woman rubbing her coochie on video for money. Or I'm not. Period. Period. So y'all can try to fool men all y'all want. But some stuff we not stupid about. Some stuff we not stupid about. We are women. We know better than you. You are speaking from a man's perspective. You have to be a woman to really understand. Fellas, if you believe that, you stupid. If you believe that, you stupid. Women don't understand women as well as men understand women. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. Men know that is a lady you don't take home to mama. Exactly. Exactly. What would your mama tell you, fellas? What would your mama tell you if you bring her home and your mama asks, well, what do? And she like, oh, I just show my feet on OnlyFans for a living and they pay me money to show my feet. Your mama might not say nothing then, but afterwards, your mama gonna tell you. Like she's showing her feet now, but she gonna be showing that coochie later. Your mama know. Shahara and Stephanie and y'all not fooling us. We know this. We know this. And then you make a decision, what you want to do. If you're dating with intention and your intention is to get married and you don't want to marry a chick that does stuff on OnlyFans, then you move on. You move on. Save her for one of them guys that's okay with that. Or one of them guys that believe that, if I take care of her, then she won't have to do OnlyFans and then she'll be out of that life. If you one of them people who believe that, then yeah, roll with it. Key!
Emanuel, you still on the air?
Yeah, you all right?
Yeah, what you talking about over there? Must be something deep. You still on the air?
I'm trying to help the women.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to help the women learn how to pick a man.
Oh, okay. I gotta re-listen to the show then. Yeah, this guy talking about some maintenance. I say it's after hours. What you talking about? Because they only supposed to be coming from supposedly from a certain time to a certain time. So I'm like, what you trying to fix? And he talking about some we've been busy. I gotta fix the smoke detector because my smoke detector needed a new battery. So he coming to fix that, talking about some because the city's doing inspections tomorrow. So I guess they trying to hurry up and go in everybody's place and fix stuff that I guess would be like a hazard.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, that don't make no sense.
So he put a battery in your smoke detector.
Yeah.
I want you to check that smoke detector and make sure he only put a battery in it. Them cameras can be tiny. So
oh, you think he put a camera in
I
there?
don't know what he did, but he showed up after hours to put a battery in your smoke detector. That don't sound necessarily like the most reasonable, rational thing. So make sure he just put a battery in, check it, and make sure ain't no hidden camera.
How I check the camera? Because I ain't got no ladder to get up there.
Oh.
But like I say, they do because they came this week and wrote a whole bunch of stuff down or whatever. So the smoke detector was on the list. So I don't know because it's like a wire. It was just like a wire hanging. So I guess supposedly if the city would have came in and seen that, there would have been a strike against them for not doing keep up on the place like they supposed to, which they don't. So I don't know if they were trying to hurry up and do that so they wouldn't get in trouble or what.
Do you have a chair?
I got something.
Like a bar stool?
No, I'm gonna use like the storage container.
How much you weigh? I don't know. I don't want you getting on no storage container and it collapsing.
I don't want to be getting on nothing.
Cause
I got rid of a whole bunch of stuff that I could stand on because I donate a lot of stuff. So a lot of stuff I done donated and got rid of because I'm gonna get all new stuff. So I ain't really got nothing to stand on for real.
You got a chair, don't you?
No, I don't really got no chairs or nothing like that.
You ain't got no chairs in your house.
I got rid of a lot of stuff,
Hold
man.
on.
You won't
Key,
believe.
Key, you ain't got no chairs in your house.
Not no chairs to stand on.
Where do y'all sit?
We sit in chairs, but it ain't no chairs like that to you be standing up on like that. I would just have to figure it out because it's hot. It's like pretty hot, and I'm not tall like that. You know what I mean?
I just want you to check it. Just make sure you check it.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it. Yeah, but that was a mess. I'm like, is you serious? So it's a mess.
And don't stand on those storage containers.
I know. Well, that's what the fire department did when look, let me tell you, I had called the fire department because that thing kept beeping, and I was scared. I'm like, okay, smoke, because it's a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide machine. So I was scared. So I'm like, I called the fire department, and they came, and I didn't have nothing for them to get up there on. So he took my storage container and turned it upside down. And I'm like, oh, Lord, please don't let him fall, because he had on all his...
How tall are you? I'm
5'6".
Okay, here's what I want you to do.
What you want me to do?
At some point, go to a hardware store and get you a small ladder.
That's what I was looking up, trying to find a small ladder. But all the ones that I see, they don't look like they sturdy. Because I've been meaning to go get one.
They are probably much sturdier than a storage container.
I know.
Go get a small ladder. I mean, at 5'6", because I'm 5'5". At 5'6", you having problems reaching stuff on top of the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? If you got high counters, high cabinets, you having problems putting stuff at the top, just go get
a small
one.
Ladder. I've been looking for one. I know.
They got them it's at every hardware store you go to.
I know. I know. Because that's what I was thinking about.
That's why I asked how much you weigh. Like,
what was weird, the fireman, he was on top of the storage container, and he was like about probably 6 something. And
okay,
then
don't trust
that. He had
that.
all that equipment on, and I'm like, oh Lord, please don't let him fall through this storage container.
Yeah, he has weakened the structural integrity of that storage container.
I know.
It's not gonna hold you. All right.
I know. So
you can go buy one. You probably get one for about $25. Just at the hardware store.
Okay, because see, I was looking them up on Amazon, and then I was looking them up.
Go.
That's what I'm thinking. So you said probably about $20-something.
Probably about 25, maybe 32.
I was looking at the ones that had like 3 and 4 steps, but how many steps you think I don't know how many steps I would need. That's the thing. To reach up to like the ceiling or whatever.
You really only need a few steps.
Because they put them on the ceiling.
Yeah, you only need a few.
Okay, but that's what's going on. I had to get off the phone. Like, what? Like, they trying to rush and do stuff down here. And
I mean, it's probably nothing. But
no, it ain't nothing because, like I say, the city is because they did this before when they try to rush and do like maintenance stuff on people's apartments to where like if like the big wigs, I think they said like the city or something is coming in tomorrow and looking at the apartment. So if they see stuff like that they know they should have been repaired and they didn't repair it, they gonna get in trouble. So that's why I think they was hurrying up trying to fix everything that's like a possible like like a fire, like I said, a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector. That's important. That's supposed to be up and there's just strings hanging. So of course they trying to hurry up and put that up there so they won't come in here and see just strings hanging. Ain't no smoke detector up.
Yeah, more than likely that's really what it is. But just check and make sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna check and make sure.
All right.
Okay, so you trying to help women, huh? So
Yeah.
didn't you say you had an appointment to go to? You must ain't got to go to church or nothing.
No, today I actually don't. But
Oh, what? You don't?
no, not today.
Okay, now what part of the conversation that you trying to help women? Because you tried to hook Raven up and that didn't work out. So what you trying to do now?
Well, she asked a question about, maybe some advice in her search. And I was
Raven?
Yeah, and I was just giving her some really good sage advice. Some of the women were kind of saying my advice wasn't good, but I imagine most of them is single. So they don't really know nothing. So, yeah.
You a mess. Is your brother still in here? Because he was asking where was I at earlier.
Oh, I don't know if he's
still
still
shout him out. Emanuel Livingston, I'm here.
But I am about to get off this thing. It's 6 o'clock.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to re-listen to it and see what happened. And listen to it. See if you was hearing me hollering at them through the door like, who is it?
Yeah, we heard you.
Oh, you heard y'all?
Yeah, that's why I just wanted to check and make sure you was all right.
Oh, yeah, I'm cool. Like I said, they trying to hurry up and dot all their I's and cross all their T's for tomorrow. Because like I said, they said supposedly the city is supposed to be coming because they done got took over by some new people or whatever. So I think probably these inspections is probably going to determine if they have a job probably. So because they got a high turnover rate at the office. So it's a hot mess.
All right.
All right, Emanuel, you going to be on tomorrow?
That's the plan, yeah.
All right, you got to pick up the grandbaby tomorrow, too?
Yes.
Okay. All righty, well, I will talk to y'all later. Everybody enjoy the rest of their day.
All right,
righty, man, y'all talk to you later.
All right. Stephanie says, that is an insult to women. Shame on you. You don't have to be married. You don't have to be married, but, if you don't have to be married. There are a lot of wise women who are not married and never been married. But it's a lot of unmarried women who are not married because they don't know what they're doing. They're overlooking red flags and find themselves in bad positions, and they waste so much time, and that's why they end up unmarried their entire life. They're out there having fun and playing around and getting to know people and all of that kind of stuff, and all of that stuff is fine unless your intention is get married. And you don't have time to waste. But all right, y'all, I got to get out of here. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. I feel like a lot of y'all didn't take my real serious advice seriously. But hopefully it sink in and you begin to date with intention and, you find your man. Or he finds you, or however you believe in that. All right? Until next time. I'm out, y'all. Peace.